Hey there, did you know that I love you? Yes, you personally, right now, the person watching this video. I love you, and I am your best friend. The Tom Dark audience is the best group of friends that anyone can ask for on the internet because, of course, you guys take after me, and you take after my very masculine demeanor. I guess you could say that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I personally know that you guys have been looks maxing, and yes, you are making progress. I've noticed that change. And if you're new to the Tom Dark channel, hey, that's okay. You gotta start your journey somewhere. The hardest part is taking your first step on your looks maxing journey, and thankfully I'm here to help. Looks maxing is like upgrading your personal software for the ultimate glow up. It's a quest to become the most boss level version of yourself, armed with skincare serums, gym memberships, and maybe a sprinkle of a perfectly trimmed beard. You can adjust your sliders for jaw lines, hairstyles, and charisma until the world can't help but swipe right on you. Maybe one day you'll even be able to look in the mirror, smile, and say, maybe I really do have the sexy white boy swag of thick neck Markiplier. And unfortunately for today's subject, it seems like he did the exact opposite of looks maxing. He did some looks minimizing. He's known for practicing the cursed banned arcane art known as disgusting maxing or shit maxing, poop maxing even. Mind you, this isn't your run-of-the-mill internet mutant, okay? Guys like that are a dime a dozen. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's your civic duty to push creatures like this into a grape press, Hitman 3 style. Stephen Hawking? Ugh. Yeah, sorry, Stephen, but you're getting put in that grape press. Bye-bye. But you know what? Even if peering at their form is the visual equivalent of dumping salt in your eyes, at least some of them are funny. You know, I love scrolling through Twitter and then just coming across Ricky Berwick rolling around on the floor. Or if I'm watching the Adam Friedland show and I see that screaming trumpet guy, okay, when he talks about how he can levitate off the ground.
And I can do that on
Wait, you
foam.
Wait, you can levitate from...
Well, it's called flying.
You can fly.
Yeah.
They've got some endearing qualities, but today's subject has probably none. Probably no endearing qualities. There's no real positive benefit to his life outside of shitting in diapers at almost 40 years old. If ever there has been a case to not drive fast or to drive safe or to be defensively driving, ooh, I'm in the intersection. Is anyone gonna hit me? Ooh, is anyone gonna hit me? Ah! Okay, if there's ever been a case, this is it. It's time to meet Andrew Ditch, also known as the Poop Squatch, a barely groomed, middle-aged scat enthusiast who lives with his mother, his father, and his brother in Tonawanda, New York. Andy spends all day in soiled diapers while he follows his family members around the house, telling them how much he loves to squish his own dog's excrement between his fingers. Yeah, sorry, it is going to be one of those videos, so if you're eating, possibly stop, unless you're like me. I love eating shit. Andrew was diagnosed with PTSD during his childhood and had frequent visits to the hospital due to violent outbursts against his family. He would freak out. One particularly alarming incident involves his father suffering from poisoning as a result of antifreeze. While there's no concrete evidence linking Andrew to the act, suspicion heavily pointed in his direction. People believe that maybe he spiked his father's drink as some kind of assassination attempt. That's one of the really fun things about Andrew. He loves messing around with toxic chemicals like a baby trying to put a fork in an outlet. Now, in his early years, Andrew showed no indication of having autism, which is going to be important because his family noticed a dramatic shift in his personality following a hit-and-run accident in his early 20s, which I don't mean to make light of this too much, but actually I do. He had a car crash while he was dressed as Ronald McDonald. He was dressed as Ronald McDonald and he got in a car crash. According to his dad, this was the moment that changed his life forever.
And we got a phone call. We're sitting down to eat dinner. Come and see your son if you want, because otherwise he's going to be dead. He's laying in the middle of the street. So we raced out, got in the car, went over there, and he's laying in the middle of the street. He got hit by a vehicle, hit and run. And he's laying there, you know, his face is all mashed up and everything. And we had to call the police and the ambulance, get him to the hospital, whole 9 yards. And they said, well, other than the bruises, bleeding, and probably a concussion, he should be okay. And ever since, we've always questioned whether or not he had brain damage.
Now, obviously, severe brain trauma can pop up months after getting hit, but in Andrew's case, it's much, much different. Even after this car crash that his father claims changed everything, Andrew can be seen acting like a pretty normal person even like 8 years ago. Back then, he had a big interest in computers. He was a big PC culture guy, so he created a company for it called Best PCs, where he had his own logo, shirts, and his own website.
I'm Andrew from Best PCs here. I'm going to show you how to hook up a wireless network into an existing single connection computer internet connection.
Clearly, he seemed like just a normal, kind of chubby, nerdy dude, right? Kind of like Gaben. And he was even smart enough to be a certified meteorologist, okay? He actually worked with professional meteorologists a couple of times. It's also been proven that he did used to own and drive a car, which might seem like a silly detail, but it's going to be important later on. But after a while, Andrew's income was dwindling for some reason, and he didn't have enough money to pay for his own apartment, so he had to move back in with his family. And this is when the really wacky shit starts. Once he moved in, Andrew began talking like a baby. He began talking in goo goo gaga speak. I'm just a baby. He did that, literally. According to his own mother, part of the reasoning behind this was that Andrew looked up what an autistic person acts like, and from then on, he just pretended to be one.
If my lawyer, I just not good. I hate words. I hate words.
But it wasn't just pretending to be autistic. Andrew would start accusing his own family of not taking care of him and would start essentially torturing them into doing whatever it is he wanted that day, which was usually being treated like a baby. And it's also at this point that Andrew began uploading to YouTube, posting a lot of videos of himself. He claimed that his family was barring him from getting his medication, barring him from getting the help he needed, whatever else. He was basically claiming to be abused by his own parents as an adult man. Now, there's hundreds of videos he's posted, and they're very, very unnerving. A little bit of a spoiler alert, he does not have autism. Andrew has seen multiple doctors throughout the years, and all of them have come to the conclusion that he is straight up faking it. In November 2018, a doctor who had seen Andy multiple times diagnosed him with schizoaffective disorder, depressive type, and an absence of autism spectrum disorder. Absence means he doesn't have it, by the way. He states that Mr. Ditch seems bent on receiving a diagnosis of an autism spectrum disorder. He seems to have read up on the condition and is familiar with some of the buzzword terminology, and he appears to embrace some of the subjective criteria about it, which he has read or otherwise been informed of. Another doctor did diagnose Andy with autism as well as Tourette's in August 2018. A dictation from February 2010 lists bipolar, impulse control disorder, and ADHD in Andy's history. The psychiatrist's summation in this same document lists ODD, impulse control disorder, and bipolar, as well as pervasive developmental disorder, something along the autistic spectrum disorder, although when one goes through the old record, there is no such diagnosis. Now, even when Andrew's family's gotten him medication, they're willing to make phone calls for him to see doctors, the works basically, he will literally go out of his way to destroy and refuse any kind of help he's given, all the while saying he's being abused and banned, specifically uses the word banned, from getting the help he needs. This has led his entire family, usually his father, to confront him several times on the medications that he's thrown away, as well as the fact that he seems to be faking having autism.
Why are you forcing me to have
Obviously, a lot of it was destroyed.
Yeah, I destroyed my medicines. You said I don't need them. I don't need help.
So good.
I don't need your help.
Makes it easy for me to get it out.
You said that I don't need help. I used to do this all myself.
You're going to disturb the
I'm
music
disturbing you
because
on
if you're
the
misbehaving.
recording,
Yeah, Andy, I'm
uncontrollable.
recording too, crap.
Yeah, well, I want that thrown away. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't have autism. I fucking fake.
Good.
Can you please let me throw it out? It's my shit.
You're having a typical.
Please, I want to throw it out. I don't want to have autism anymore. Please, I don't want diapers anymore. Please. You're forcing me to do something I don't want because you're hurting me.
Andy, if you wouldn't act like this, Andy, if you didn't act like this, we wouldn't have this problem.
I can do this shit. I'm calling the police.
You call.
You're instigating me, and you're being allowed to do this to me, and I'm asking you to please
You're not
throw it out.
And after every single confrontation, Andrew will pretty much always respond by having a violent tantrum, much like a baby, and he'll once again scream about how they're abusing him or bullying him.
Dad, I want to be left alone. You're bullying me. Please, I want you to stop. I want to get my sneakers, Dad, so I can go run away. Please, I want to get my sneakers since you fucking call me a fucking fake!
Now, it has been speculated that he suffers from Munchausen syndrome, which is a rare mental disorder that causes a person to pretend to be ill or deliberately act out symptoms of an illness for attention. And the people positing this theory that he had Munchausen's would become even more apparent with one of the most infamous things that Andrew is known for. If you search for Andrew Ditch online, you'll likely come across stories about the disturbing incidents that made him famous in the first place, or infamous rather. You see, his family's patience for him was wearing thin when they began feeling nauseous or dizzy after their morning coffee and they didn't know what was up, because normally you drink coffee, you feel excited, you feel elated, you feel ready to go, but they felt very sick. They were pretty concerned for their health, so they contacted the authorities, and it led to an investigation that uncovered Andrew's behavior, which is that he had been adding dangerous chemicals to the coffee maker to poison his family.
A man from the city of Tonawanda faces 3 felony charges accused of spiking the food of several of his family members. Police say 34-year-old Andrew Ditch put Epsom salts and laxatives in the food and the water reservoir of the family's coffee machine. Now, the family members knew something was wrong when they all started to suffer from nausea, abdominal pain, and severe diarrhea. Ditch was arraigned and is being held on $5,000 bail. He will return to court tomorrow for a felony hearing.
Now, Andrew was actually charged with attempted assault, but he didn't end up going to jail, and we're not really sure why right now. But his actions obviously reflect a blatant disregard for the well-being of others, ranging from petty disruptions to outright dangerous behavior to those around him. One particularly appalling example was when his mother, who relies on oxygen, asked Andrew to turn off a diffuser that was potentially hazardous for her health. But Andrew refused to do this, claiming that it helped him relax. Keep in mind his mother is potentially having serious health complications, and he's more concerned about if he's relaxing right now. And his sheer selfishness escalated to the point where he was famously arrested by Officer Bentley, which is a moment that Andrew for some reason actually seemed to enjoy as he is screaming at the officer to take him away.
All right, well, I'll call my lieutenant and see if this fits harassment charges, and if
I'm not doing it to cause anyone to get.
Because your oil diffuser's on. Okay?
I'm not doing it to cause any intent to cause anybody
it's
harm.
bothering them. It doesn't matter.
And you don't
You know
have.
what? Since I walked in the store, you refuse to talk to me like an adult.
Because I don't appreciate you how you treat me. Okay. You're discriminating against my disability.
Andy, that's fine. You can go to jail then. Okay, that's fine.
Arrest me. Throw me in jail.
I can.
Stand up! Right now! Hurting me! Stand up. You're hurting me! Stand up. You're abusing me! Well, that's what happened. I want to die because you don't want to help me!
Despite on the surface saying that he loves his mother, he has a lot of affection for her, Andrew's actions obviously suggest otherwise. He seems to really resent her even being in the house, and at the same time, he also expresses that he wants her to leave so that his father can devote all of his attention to him instead of, you know, his wife. There's these crazy moments where his mother will fall, and rather than helping her up, because Andrew's a fully grown man who's capable of doing that, instead he will adopt this baby persona where he will just talk like a baby and pressure his elderly father to lift her off the floor. Frankly, his behavior is definitely somewhat symptomatic of mental illness. I don't think there's any denying that. No normal person, almost no matter how evil they are, is going to do this. But at the same time, he has this crazy level of entitlement and apathy towards anyone else being hurt, which leaves very little room for sympathy when you actually see him.
I'm not going anymore to the doctors. I asked you to help me, and you're not helping me.
Andy and his family also at this point, because of how crazy things have gotten, have a habit of involving law enforcement in their very trivial personal matters, which understandably has made the police fucking hate them for, you know, wasting local resources on this bullshit. These police calls often stem from Andy's tendency to exaggerate minor disagreements and end up seeking police intervention for issues that they don't really need to be there for. And on top of that, like, these incidents don't even need to happen. It's just Andrew can't stop himself from being a fucking psycho. Andy is typically the one to make these calls. He'll summon the officers to complain about his relatives in an effort to have them reprimanded or even arrested under his dubious claims of mistreatment. It's actually so fucked up to watch some of these, because you can even tell that both of his parents just have like become used to being used and abused by their son. They're used to the constant manipulation, to the point that when Andrew called the cops once, his mom was like, "Can I have a hug?" from the cop, because she's so fucked up right now.
I need my dad to help me relax and not yell at me and scream at me and hurt my ears when I was trying to eat something.
From you. You do? What do you need?
It's, no.
Oh, you need a hug?
Oh, you know what?
I miss those. Doesn't Andy give you something?
I don't like hugs.
And other times, he won't even lie to the officers. He'll just call them. He'll call them for the most asinine reasons. At one point, he called them because he couldn't make popcorn. He called the police because he didn't know how to make popcorn. And every time the police come, they're there and they're like, "Well, we can't do anything about this. What do you want me to do? Nothing's happening here." And then, because the cops can't do anything because there's nothing going on, Andy has a fucking freak out. He screams at the officers. He accuses them of being ableist and not helping him because of his disability. And they hate him because he's retarded. And one time, he even he flashed his dick. He showed the cop his stick. He showed the cop his wiener.
I don't mean to sexually abuse you, but this is my skin infection.
Andy's ultimate aim seems to be gaining control of his parents' home. He frequently alleges verbal abuse and insists that his parents should be removed from the premises for his mental health. Andy's claims put the officers in a very awkward position, as they're obligated to respond to a call that they get if the person says it's serious, but every single time they go, they have to leave without taking action because there's no evidence of anything, because nothing happened. The situation has become so regular that Officer Bentley is like their personal guy. Whenever they call, he's the guy that the precinct sends to, like, okay, go deal with Andy Ditch right now. Go deal with the Ditch family. And you can see that this cop is like trying his best to maintain some level of professionalism around the family, but if I was him, I would have lost my mind by now. I would have done something bad.
I'm at work right now on a Saturday night at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're calling me about cyberbullying, okay?
Well, I called about the firework that went off earlier.
So?
And then I asked, because while I was on the phone, I asked it about the cyberbullying.
Andy, there's nothing I can do. It's YouTube. It's online. It's freedom of speech.
But these shenanigans aren't all self-contained within the home. Andrew will do anything to give him any reason to lash out at anyone, and even when he's been sent to group homes, programs, hospitals, etc., he nonstop acts like a toddler in every scenario. In one case, he even spit on a nurse for discriminating against him for his disability. He spit on her.
Can I please leave?
Sir, no. The doctor
Why?
said no. The doctor said no.
I want to leave.
Hey, man, come on.
I want to leave. Can I please leave?
No.
I have a right.
But Tom, you might be asking, why is he called the Poop Squatch? I really want to know this information. It's important to my life. I need to know. I love it. Well, if you fancy yourself some fecal activity, might I interest you in this multi-page long chain of medical documents describing his fascination with poop. And if that doesn't do the job, how about the time that Andy's dad had to scream at him because Andy decided it would be an epic idea to take a dookie dump in his dad's truck.
You're abused! Stop! Please! You assault my soul first! Yeah! I can't do it! I know you can. Get away from me, because I'm no good! I'm a piece of shit! I know that!
Andrew's fascination with shit and diapers has been thoroughly documented. He is diaper maxing for sure, okay? Shout out on Phonum Grave. He's one of us. And he's made several videos promising that if he gets to 1 million subscribers, he will consume his own excrement.
If you want me to eat poop, I need you to subscribe to my channel, get me 1 million subscribers plus.
Honestly, after seeing that, I feel like maybe I'm doing something wrong. I mean, I don't have 1 million subscribers on the Tom Dark channel. Not even close. I think this is the real way that you should be incentivizing people to, you know, reach a sub goal. Give them a prize, give them a present, give them the gift of a video of you eating shit. And unfortunately for you and for me, there are also several, just so many pictures of Andrew's mountains. He makes mountains out of the stuff. Just imagine like the most cartoonish pile of shit you've ever seen. That is what he does. In fact, he actually loves it so much that he's recorded himself and posted it online. He posted videos of him smearing excrement on the walls on the internet. And so at this point, Andy's taken up the most effective form of excrement moderation, which is that he wears diapers, which his mother has changed. He's a 30-plus-year-old man getting his diaper changed by his mom. He had a job not that long ago. What the fuck is happening? And much like with the excrement, Andy also loves to talk about his passion for diapers full-time on YouTube. In April of 2014, Andrew actually registered an account on a diaper forum, where on his profile he noted that he's a diaper lover, as well as being incontinent. Ooh. People also found that while he was sharing his screen, Andrew accidentally showed off a piece of scat fetish art, which featured the Wendy's mascot pushing out brown liquid into a drink cup from Wendy's. I'm not going to put the picture here, even the censored one. You can imagine it yourself, but yeah, I'm just not I'm not showing that. And this leaked screen recording has led many to believe that the real reason Andrew loves shit so much is that he has a fetish for it, which, I mean, like, was it that hard to guess? Yes, big surprise. The guy in his mid-30s who is faking autism has a shit fetish. Whoa.
Hey, I want to show you this. Pooping in my diaper. On purpose. Ooh, it feels so good. Ooh. Ooh. There's a big lump in my butt. Nice and warm, too. Ooh. Lumpy, hard feeling, too. And nice and warm.
Now, shockingly, even though there has been all of this shit, no pun intended, Andy is still not a convicted sex offender, which honestly, I was really expecting. Like, there's always something like that when it comes to people like Andy, but this time he's actually clean. Well, he's not clean, but you know what I mean. But don't get too excited. That doesn't mean that he hasn't defended other people like Nova Online for their weird behavior. In Andy's own words, if someone has a disability, then it's okay for them to creep on children because they're mentally immature. Therefore, we should just let them do it, because it's like, in his mind, they're the same as a child.
If this kid is going through it too, this kid is no different than me. He did not do anything. And then you have a huge following of people to say, I'm faking, I'm a pedophile, I am deliberately acting like this, I want people to diaper me, I'm age regressed, I don't need diapers and all this bullshit that people do to me. I need to stop this because not only it's hurting me, but it's hurting this other person and it's hurting many other people.
Now, a bunch of people saw that he was defending Nova online, someone who's very hated and is a very weird, creepy person, so obviously they called him out for it. And at that point, Andrew had a very bright idea because he wanted to prove that he himself was not some kind of creep. And his explanation for this, his evidence, was that he walked to a park and recorded children playing. He was being accused of being a creep, and he told people he goes to a park and records children playing. Dude. Fuck off! And his rationale here is that because he wasn't arrested for recording these people, these kids, he didn't do anything wrong. And at the same time, he also admitted that he does it every week. So, yeah. Andy's officially dipped his toes into the world of stalking, probably because he wanted a new hobby that wasn't playing with shit. Fair enough, I guess. Andy has allegedly stalked a nurse and followed her home from the hospital, at least according to his parents when they talked about it, which I would generally trust what they have to say because they live with him, and he's also their son, who they would probably want to not be like he is, but he is like this. So yeah, he stalked someone.
And we got a phone call from the owner of that house who was terrified of him.
And she works at the ER at Kenmore Mercy.
And she works at Kenmore Mercy as a nurse.
Now, most recently in the Andy Ditch verse, it seems like he's once again gotten involved with the police, but this time it was a lot more serious. Andy's family had obviously gotten very fed up with him and his behavior over the years, but a lot of people expected them to never really snap and turn on him because of how old they were. He is their son after all. However, a few months ago, Andy randomly disappeared from the internet, which was very out of character for him. Andy's the type of guy that never stops posting. He's got a constant stream of videos coming out from him every single day. And so this led a lot of people to question, like, what is going on? We miss Andy. We miss the content. We miss the poop squatch. And eventually, Andy would come back online and reveal he had been sent to a nursing home and he was staying there. But his treatment of the staff was absolutely horrendous. And it's especially frustrating for them because they all fully knew he had the capability of going to the bathroom by himself. But Andy would insist that he needed to wear diapers and that the nurses needed to change them, and that the nurses who wouldn't do it were diaper discriminating.
You're refusing to accept that. That's why I'm incontinent. That's why I am incontinent, because of my autism. Hey, officer, can I have the nurse arrested, please? Why? Why not?
Now, the nurses had been given a rundown about Andy's situation, so clearly this wasn't their first song and dance with him because they understood the history a little bit, they knew the lore. And while he was there, Andy would constantly call the police like every day. He would tell the cops that his back was hurting and that he needed the names of all the staff so he could press charges on them for making his back hurt. But after a short period of time, Andy would actually be released from the nursing home and he got sent to a hospital at that point. Now, initially, the hospital staff treated him like they would an autistic person because they thought he had autism, but eventually they figured out that he was not being truthful. He didn't have autism. So they began pushing him to do things he could 100% do to make him better, to try and break him from these bonds. But that only increased the anger in him and he started having freakouts.
And I can record you guys as you're recording me in that room. And you guys are saying I don't need help with hygiene and stuff. And I don't feel comfortable if you guys touch me or help me.
Hi. What's going on, buddy?
I'm leaving.
Again?
I ain't going back in the room. I'll stay right here. I'm just gonna sit in this elevator then. Please leave.
What's going on, buddy?
Leave? I'm leaving.
Okay, well, we don't want you to leave.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
It's my right.
These breakdowns increased in frequency until eventually the hospital staff got so frustrated that they kicked him out. And they probably could have done it earlier. They were kind of just humoring him. But realistically, he's not in need of any treatment. Like, he can do it all himself. He's just making them do it for his weird fetish. And this led to an even bigger meltdown by Andy.
So when there's a court that says I need a guardian, take away my right for decision, then I have to stay here. I'm only matching words that I've been told before. Have a good one, because if it's a choice to not take care of myself and be in diapers, I don't need a guardian or placement.
So at this point, he's ejected from the hospital, he's not at his parents' house, and it seems like he's going to just be released into the wilderness, basically, right, to fend for himself. He was totally on his own now. Pictures of him would start floating around, and people started guessing that he was now homeless. At least that was until he started posting videos under a new channel that was named after his father, telling people that he was currently in Ohio seeking treatment for his illnesses. Somehow he had figured out how to make it all the way to Ohio from New York. I don't know how he did that, but he did that. And it looked like he would actually get away with faking his autism once again for a little while because he was seeking treatment for it. That is, until a new police report was discovered. Andrew had been booted out of the Ohio Treatment Center after they, like everyone else, figured out that he was faking his autism. And then he got arrested for disturbing the peace in public. The report goes into a lot of detail about how, once again, Andrew was taking up a lot of public resources by freaking out in traffic, calling an ambulance when he didn't need one. But this time it was a little different because this particular officer decided to do an extensive background check on him, and they found out that he had a full history of abusing the medical systems by lying about his autism diagnosis, as well as calling the police every single day for no reason. And that led this cop to arrest Andrew and make a full report, stating once again on official legal documents this time that every illness Andrew had was made up. It was fake. Unfortunately, the arrest didn't last for very long, and soon after, he was released once again into the wild. And to this day, he's still free posting videos on his YouTube channel, which, you know what? I guess at least we have the videos to watch because they're kind of funny sometimes. But the thing about Andrew Ditch is that he just sucks. Like, he just fucking blows. Learning about him is like watching a really just depressing art house movie or something that just like, it's not even good enough that the depressing nature is outweighed by how good the art is. It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Frankly, his existence makes me need like a palate cleanser or something just to get the memory out of my mind. I apologize for putting you guys through this, okay? Maybe go watch some Seinfeld, maybe watch Kramer say the no-no word on stage, all right? Maybe that will lift your spirits. I don't know. Eat a double chunk chocolate cookie or something. Just anything to cleanse your mind. Like my own personal favorite internet art aficionado says, an artist respects the silence that serves as the foundation for creativity. Thanks for watching. Bye.